guys, today I'm bringing you guys another video on the 914 project, which is sitting here right behind me. Last video, car started up, last video I yanked the transmission out of the Impreza and converted that to front-wheel drive. Got that sitting here right next to me. Next step is to actually get that in the car. Before I can actually get it in the car though, the Porsche transmission needs to come out of here because that's still in the car. I've already drained all the fluids and everything, so it's ready to get pulled. I just wanted to show you guys a couple of things before I pulled it out. Obviously, I didn't do this swap originally because I'm completely redoing everything, wiring, body mounts, or engine mounts, that sort of thing. In hindsight, I probably should have just bought a bare shell to start with because I'm sort of redoing this guy's work. But I wanted to show you guys just the craftsmanship of the engine mounts that are in this thing. Sort of like how the wiring was super haggard, this is terrible as well. So I thought I'd show you guys that real quick. So here we are underneath the car. I already have it partially disassembled, like the exhaust is completely taken off, and this, which is actually part of the engine mount, is already removed. So this guy, let me just show you real quick, was mounted like that. So there's this piece of angle iron here, and these tubes sort of rested on that angle iron right there. And the reason why I have it still jacked up, because it is sitting on jack stands, but I wanted to show you guys this engine mount setup. So let me show it to you guys here real quick first, sort of in detail. Right there, that's the stock engine mount bolt location. Has a bar going across all the way to on the same spot on the other side, and then these are connected to that, and these are these ones that are right there, and then that's the actual engine mount right there in the center of the frame, next to the oil pan. First of all, take a look at those welds on that, which are just hideous, and obviously did not even come close to penetrating. It looks like it's done with a flux core welder, and that's pretty thick steel there, so that's not going to happen. Let me show you why he had this piece though set up here, because check out this part of the engine mount. As I lower the jack just real slowly, there we go. Okay, yeah, just watch the engine mount sort of in relation to everything else. Look at that. Oh, you see that? So this tube was all the way up here. That's how I don't know, it's just super ghetto. So obviously I'm gonna redo all that, but I just wanted to show you guys that before I started tearing it out, because it's just sort of interesting to see what people think is acceptable. So next, I guess I'm just gonna I'll pull off these axles and the clutch cable, that sort of thing, and just start pulling this entire transmission out. So guys, I thought I'd bring you back real quick because I found something else that's sort of ridiculous in terms of how the previous owner did this engine swap. So right here, this right here is going to be what the shifter attaches to. This goes in and out and back and forth. If you look at the shifter rod, look at those welds. And then look at that. I don't know if you guys can tell. Let me get it to focus real quick. It's a little bit dark, so I might struggle. Oh, nope, not gonna happen. Yeah, let me try this. There we go. Look at that. That's pipe. That's the whole shifter mechanism. Even down here, let me get the light down there. That is all made out of pipe. You see that? And it's just welded together. And I guess, I mean, it worked. The shifter did work. But I mean, what a hack way to do that, right? And look at those welds. Jeez, it's just hideous. So obviously, my shifter setup, I don't know if I've told you guys this, but obviously I'm getting rid of this. I'm going to run an MR2 shifter. like the actual shifter part from an MR2, and then just get custom cables made, and then I'll have to just on the end of this trans right here, I'll have to just sort of fab something up so that the cables shift it right. But that's my plan for that, not to just get pipe and weld those together. So I'm going to keep on working on this though. Both the axles are undone, so next step, probably just undo the clutch cable, and then start undoing the bell housing bolts. Once those are off, I'll just drop the training, I guess. So I'll see you guys then. Here's the transmission, nice and dirty. So let's hold it up next to the Subaru transmission and see how similar they are going to be in size. So here's the transmissions next to each other. Thought I'd just do a quick comparison. Obviously, the Subaru transmission is quite a bit bigger than the original Porsche transmission, as you can see. Porsche transmission, I have it set back because the adapter plate is going to give it just about that much space. You can see how much further back the axle stub is, and then the Subaru box is still longer on this end. Sort of interesting how small the bell housing is on the Porsche transmission. I guess the Type 4 stock bell housing is quite small compared to the EJ1. But yeah, so these are going to be the mounts that I'm going to have to basically build for the for the Subaru. Basically, I'm going to have to go from these mounts up to here to get to tie into the stock mounting locations. And it looks like the engine is actually going to move back in the engine bay quite a bit to get those axle stubs to line up. Because basically, since it's set back so much further, the entire engine is going to move back, about an inch or two. Make sure the axles aren't at a wonky angle. But let's crawl under here. As you can see, it's sort of a worn pressure plate on there. No big deal, really. But next I'm just going to pull off the adapter plate, which I'm just going to sell. So let me know if any of you guys are interested in that sort of thing. But yeah, that adapter plate, I literally have no use for it. Same with this transmission, since I'm going to the Subaru trainee. The adapter plate's just held on by the 4 bolts that would normally hold the EJ Subaru transmission to the engine. So it's real simple to take off. I've got to take off the flywheel and the pressure plate clutch and everything first, of course, though. So I'll get that taken care of. So guys, here's the Kennedy Engineering adapter plate. Finally got it off, as you guys saw. It's just basically a piece of billet aluminum with these studs in it and holes so that you can adapt the two. It's real simple. There's the flywheel. It's a big wide flywheel so it can clear it, as you can see. But besides that, it's a pretty simple, basically just a simple adapter plate. Awesome. I'm just going to get this thing cleaned up because I'm going to sell it here soon, but there it is. And now get started on trying to get that thing in there. Okay guys, so since I need to pull the engine out to even start making the engine mounts and everything. In order to make it a little bit easier on myself, and since this one's pretty destroyed, I'm just going to take the oil pan off. Oil pan's real dented up because these the oil pans in Super engines sit pretty low. I may end up shortening it. If anything, I'm just going to replace it with a fresh one and be careful with it, but I may end up chopping off the bottom of it and basically shortening the oil pan so that it doesn't get dented again. But I'm going to pull the oil pan out just so that I have a flat bottom. I'll basically just be able to pull it out from under here a lot easier because it'll give me about that much more space. I'm really dirty. So I'm just going to pull the oil pan off real quick. I'm rambling. So guys, got the oil pan removed. And here, let me show you how dented up it is. Check that out. That's carnage. So that is supposed to be sort of rounded out on the bottom, and it's completely knocked in, concave, which is not good. I don't think it wasn't quite up to the oil pickup yet, which is obviously a good thing because it means it wasn't starving the engine of oil because of it, but it was getting pretty close, so definitely need to do something about it. I have some time to decide what I'll do, so who knows. Figure something out soon. So guys, now that I got the oil pan off, next step is to actually just get the engine out. I just have to pull the fuel lines off and all the electrical connectors, which is just, you know, a few that are on there. And then it's just a couple of bolts, and I can lower the whole thing with the jack. So I'm going to get on those fuel lines and electrical connectors. Nice and uneventful, luckily. Nothing fell, nothing broke. Just came right out. Sweet. Alright guys, so as you just saw, got this out of the car, finally. So here I can go show you a little more of the engine mount setup that he had. So basically these went to the stock engine mount location for the stock 2-liter. And he just had clamps over them basically with 2 bolts that held them in. Yeah, which is interesting. And then he has that running back. That went onto that little thing on the back of the transmission. Don't even know what to call it. Here's some more of those terrible burger welds. Those aren't even the worst ones. And as you can see, that engine mount goes across the front of the engine as well. When I redesign it, I'm not going to do that because I'll have the exhaust going up there, I think. But I also find quite funny that this tiny little car has just the giantest space under here. You got all this room back here for the transmission to fit, and then a pretty roomy engine bay, to be honest. I mean, look at all that. I just find it sort of funny that this miniature car has basically just a ginormous space under here for engine and transmission combo. So yeah, I'm going to get this thing cleaned up just because it's quite dirty. I couldn't get it completely clean while it was in the engine bay, but now that it's out, it should be a lot easier to get nice and clean. Take this thing off. I have the tubing bender coming in the mail. Don't know if I've said that already. So should be able to make the new engine and tranny mounts here real quick. And then I'm trying to find a flywheel currently because I do not have one. I have a clutch and pressure plate that I got out of the car that the transmission came out of, but the flywheel did not come, or I didn't get the flywheel out of it. I just didn't have enough time, so I gotta get a flywheel real quick so I can actually mate these guys up and find the starter. Can't find the starter, even though I know I have that somewhere, so gotta look around for that. Alright guys, well, I guess I'm just going to start cleaning it up. I'm also going to clean up the engine bay, I guess, too. I'm going to completely repaint everything. just so that it looks clean before I get the engine in there. Gives me something to do. So yeah, I'll get started and clean everything up.